Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying sane, and in this video today we are going to go ahead and get started on a sewing project that hopefully will inspire you to sew during this crazy time. So let's get started. A few months back, I watched Bernadette Banner's Lady Sherlock series, and I was so inspired by the idea of a cohesive outfit all in tweed. Now, if you haven't heard of Bernadette Banner or haven't seen her Lady Sherlock, then I definitely recommend checking out her channel because her sass and her dedication to research is so inspiring. Now, after I watched her series, I was actually at the fabric store and I found this stunning plaid and thought that maybe instead of tweed, I would design an outfit all in plaid. I'll save tweed for another time. Now, if you are aware of Bernadette Banner, then you know that her style is definitely more Victorian, Edwardian inspired, whereas mine is usually more 1940s, 1950s inspired. However, I've been branching out into different eras as of late, and I've also been watching a lot of Victoria, hence the whatever's going on right now. So while I was at the fabric store picking up this amazing plaid, I also picked up this wonderful vintage Vogue jacket and skirt combo set. And what I want to do is obviously make this outfit in plaid. However, I want to alter this jacket into a vest just because I think that's going to be a bit more versatile and I can switch up the eras a bit more with that. Now, the pattern that I'm going to be using for the skirt is actually the pattern that I use for my Edwardian modern skirt, and it was this skirt. I just modified it to fit my curves a bit more just because my curves are more accentuated than they allow. Now, if you're interested in hearing a bit more about the mock-up process for that skirt and how I tweaked it, you can definitely check out that modern Edwardian style skirt video right there. And as a side note, I do think mock-ups are really important, so definitely take the time to do them, especially for a bigger project with fabric that you don't want to waste. So, as I've said 1,000 times, I'm going to be making my skirt out of this amazing wool because my goal in life is to look like a stereotypical English farmer. And to go with the plaid, I got this cotton liner because lining is necessary for wool because wool is hella itchy. So now that we've discussed all that, my first step in this process is to try washing this fabric. I know that I'm going to want to wash this outfit, maybe not that often, but I'm going to want to wash it from time to time. So I want to figure out if the fabric is going to shrink before I make the garment. So let's figure that out. Alright, so to start with washing it, what I'm going to do is actually test the washing practice. I'm going to cut out small little squares from each fabric and throw it into the wash on a cold, delicate cycle and see how it goes. And that will kind of give me an idea of how much it may or may not shrink when it's in the wash. Also, especially for this lining fabric, it frays pretty easily, so what I'm going to do is cut a little square and then sew the edges of it just so that it doesn't fray apart in the wash. Yes, I am wearing pajama pants. Don't judge me. Alright, so I have my swatches. This one is sewed around the edge. Let's see if it'll focus on it. There we go. And now I'm going to just toss them into a mesh bag to go into the laundry just to protect it a little bit further, and toss it in with my regular laundry and wash it on cold. Delicate. So good morning. I just woke up. I don't know why I'm possessed to just start getting to work because I don't actually need to do anything today, so I could take a morning off and chill, but I want to get started. So my swatches are dry. So basically, I took them out of the wash last night and let them hang to dry, and they dried pretty quickly. And the nice thing is that nothing's really changed. The wool hasn't felted. It retained its texture and shape and size, and the cotton has done the same. It's still quite soft, and it might have shrunk maybe like 1/8 of an inch, possibly, but that could have also been my own measuring skills. But I didn't think that was enough to stop me from washing the whole fabric. So I went ahead and washed the big pieces and let them dry overnight, and now I get to start cutting. So I got the floor all vacuumed. I've got my board out. If you happen to have carpet and can afford going and grabbing something, you know, a big board to work on is definitely going to help. And if it's covered in paint, then even better. Go away. So now it's time to start cutting. This is definitely the scary part because, you know, you spend all this money on really great fabric and you don't want to fuck it up. Now the thing with plaid or anything that is stripes or like, you know, some sort of lines, it can make the arranging on the fabric process a little bit more complicated because you can't just throw it willy-nilly. You definitely want to make sure that it is on the lines, which can also mean that you're wasting more fabric because you can't just arrange things like puzzle pieces. You have to arrange them up and down, and that's why I spent so much time on the mock-up process for this outfit. I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly how much I needed and how it would lay out up and down, and then measured it that way. So that is definitely important just to keep in mind when working with anything like plaid or stripes. Alright, so I have all the pieces cut out of the wool, and my next step is to cut out all the pieces of the cotton lining. And I've also decided that when it comes to the wool, I'm actually going to hand sew. So I will sew the lining together on the machine, but basically the rest of the skirt will be hand sewn. And this is just because of the weave of the wool. It's a cross weave, which makes it a little unstable, and it gets caught up in the sewing machine, and it just worried me. And if you can see, let's see. You can see here the wool is definitely a little see-through, and you can see that cross-woven pattern in it, and that just lends itself to a bit more fraying and getting caught in the sewing machine. So I've decided to hand sew most of it. I am totally cool with that, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out that lining and move along. So yes, I still have not managed to put real human clothes on. We're quarantined, guys. It's fine. I'm normal. There we go. All right, so as you can see, I've got the 3 pieces cut out of the lining, the 4 pieces cut out of the wool, and now I just have gray interfacing, and I got gray because, as I discussed, this is slightly see-through, and I didn't want to get white or a light interfacing that could be, oh hi, hi. I should talk down here. I didn't want to get a lighter interfacing that would be seen through the wool. So I got a gray, and I'm going to cut out the waistband, I'm going to cut out the size of the waistband in the interfacing so that it'll be a little bit stronger. I don't believe that, since this is fusible iron-on interfacing, but I don't really believe that it's going to want to stick to this. So I'm going to try, but I also am going to stitch it to the fabric as well. I think I might try to get a thread that matches this gold and kind of stitch it along those lines. Just kind of cheating, trying to make sure that it will stay in place even when it's iron on, because I just don't think it's going to stick to it. So welcome back. I put clothes on, which is something of a feat for me. And I went for a small walk today because it's gorgeous outside. So I am back to working on my skirt now that I'm back in. Obviously, you saw that I finished the waistband, and that is good to go. And now it's really just assembling the skirt. I've already sewn a few sides of the skirt together, and I've got some of the darts already sewn in, so now it's just going to be finishing that up. So I will catch up with you when I am ready to get the liner in there. So I finished the 3 pieces that I need to get the skirt all assembled. I've got my waistband, I've got my liner, and I've got the front fabric of the skirt. So now I just need to start assembling. First, I'm going to start off with attaching the waistband to the skirt because I want to go in and cover that attachment with the liner. Then it'll be putting in the liner. So we're coming to the end of this project, and it's been only a matter of minutes for you guys, but it's been about 2 weeks for me, and I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier with how it's turning out. And I've got the waistband in, and the zipper has been inserted. And if you're interested, the stitches that I have been using, since I've mainly been doing hand sewing, I've been doing backstitch and felling stitch for those raw edges. So the final step now is just to get the lining in and attached, and I'll catch up with you guys when it's all done.
This mold gives me a ton of information. So some really important measurements are, like where the measurement of the nostril is in relation to the mouth, how far back is the corner of the mouth, what is the corner of the eye to the nose measurements.
So we have come to the end of part 1 of me attempting to make things. So as you might know, I am self-taught and only started seriously sewing within the last year. This project was not meant to be something intense and crazy, it was just meant to be something simple where I could really hone my skills. And I think I achieved that. This skirt turned out beautifully. I'm really happy with it, and it is definitely an improvement from some of my first sewing projects, like my pinafore, which you can check out right here. In this project, I have learned how to cover up raw edges, which is really something that I struggled with before. I just didn't realize that that was something that you had to do. And now I realize that that is definitely something that you have to do. I've also learned how to insert a lining, and that is not something I've done before. I never really saw the importance of it, but now I do. Now with the lining, it makes the skirt very thick, which is not very good for summer, but it will be great for winter. It also helps me to sit up straight. I really have no choice but to sit up straight in this skirt. So a couple points on the skirt. I need to add a button here because this flap was intended to clasp with a button. However, I can't go to a fabric store right now because they were all closed and I do not have any buttons. So I will be adding that as soon as I possibly can. Another point is the zipper. It is a little warped, and I think that is partly because it needs to be worked in, but also because I am still learning and figuring out zippers. However, I am proud of how it is in there. It is definitely better than even my Edwardian modern skirt, and I'm growing and learning with everything that I make. And that's an important point for you. If you are nervous about learning to sew because it looks a little nerve-wracking, then I totally understand. Sewing is not easy, and there's a lot of things that you need to grasp in order to make a really good garment. However, the only way you're going to grasp that is if you actually start making garments. So start small, learn how to follow a pattern, learn how to make a simple A-line skirt, and go from there. And during this project, I also got a very small, very minuscule taste of tailoring, and I am terrified of it. Yeah. So I'm definitely happy that I started with this first project in this series because I needed to understand some of the basics of how to fit something to you. And I definitely don't think I am doing it the right way, but it is the way I'm doing it as of right now, and it's working out okay. Now the process for my vest is a completely different story, and I have already started the mock-up process for that, and it is proving to be very difficult. But more on that in the next video. As for right now, I hope you've enjoyed going on this little adventure with me, and I hope you don't mind my pajamas because they are not going away anytime soon. Anywho, go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section if you'd like this video, or even subscribe. Stay safe, have a great week, wash your hands, and I'll see y'all next time.